guest has been a resident of Coronation Street ever since the very first episode back in 1960.
And as he prepares to celebrate his 90th birthday, would you believe it, Bill Roache is still at the heart of Weatherfield drama. We'll be discussing his incredible career in just a moment. But first, let's look back at his time as the legendary Ken Barlow.
My place of worship is the Rover's Return, and I'll swap brown ale for me and Book any day.
Come as you are. Wet hair, no dress, it's all the rage. Don't be so bashful.
I don't love you.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you?
Have you got to start raving mad?
Oh, come on, Ken, you're being oversensitive.
Okay, don't wait up!
I think we're going to fit in here rather well. And it'll feel like home before you know it. It already does.
Happy birthday, Ken. What's your secret?
Resist everything except temptation.
And Coronation Street star Bill Roache joins us now. How lovely to have you. Finally, we've got you here. We've been down the line a few times over
yes,
lockdown.
we have. It's
here you are.
And, you know, you do a wonderful job. You're uplifting everybody. The whole thing is about enjoying life, isn't it? And there's not enough of that, but you bring that.
Well, you're very sweet.
So
but that's your secret. And this is Life and Soul. It's the book which has been updated. You've got some extra bits and pieces in. Your son took the picture on the front. And that's your thing. That's your thing, is being positive.
Yes, it is mainly. I mean, there's certainly basics to life, like eating enough vegetables and drinking enough water, getting enough exercise, those things. But I think probably the worst thing is stress. And if you listen to the news and read the papers too much, there's not much joy around this. So if you can enjoy yourself and find the joy in whatever you do, makes such a big difference. The other thing is this aging. You know, when you get to about 60, it's like, oh, come and sit down, you know, when are you going to retire? And all that. But no, if you give up, you know, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah.
So keep going while you're enjoying doing it as long as you can.
And what I also loved when I was reading this morning was that you were saying one of the secrets behind all your success is that you've never stopped learning.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, they often ask me, do the youngsters come and ask me for advice on the street? But I say, no, I feel I should go and ask them because they're all so good and so confident as well. You see, I've got wonderful actors around me like Chris Gascoigne and Kate Ford, and I'm learning all the time. And that's what life is about. You never actually stop learning.
No.
But
so you're,
in an enjoyable way.
Of course, and your exercise as well, because you go out twice a week.
Once a week.
Is it once now?
Sometimes twice a week, mainly once a week, to do Fun Fit. And what's amazing about that, you've got 5-year-olds up to me, and the exercises are appropriate for everybody.
But look at what you're doing here.
It's like playing tag at school, some of that.
Look at all different ages there all together. And I mean, and keeping active like that is so important. And that seems to be what your life looks like. I mean, there's no slowing down. I think when you started Coronation Street, you were only meant to be there for 6 weeks, and here we are all these
62 years later. I know, that's amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Did you imagine when you started that job, when you walked onto that street for the first time, that you...
No. We thought it was only going to run for 11 weeks, and that's what we thought it was, and then it took off. Yeah. We weren't a soap. There weren't soaps in those days. We were part of the new realism that was sweeping through the theatre and films. Marlon Brando, James Dean and the theatre, Look Back in Anger. And we were the kitchen sink drama. So we were highly respected, and it was great in those days. I accept that we're in the genre of soap now, but I still find that word a little bit...
Yeah, I can understand. Well, I like continuing drama for all of them.
Yes,
because
ongoing drama is a far better word,
For you, when did you know, when did you realise this is big? This is going to be bigger than any of us imagined it was going to be?
When we first... It wasn't... The first time we went out, we're only in the north. When we first went out, fully networked, the reaction was amazing. All the papers wrote us up because we were part of this new realism. And I remember the producer coming down and saying, what's this? What have we got? It was going to stop. And we were suddenly offered 3-year contracts. And it was amazing. It was an instant success because it was part of the realism.
That cast then as well, I mean, that group of people,
Yes.
many of whom became, including yourself, obviously, massive icons, big, strong characters.
Yes. Well, there were all big characters with Eno Sharples and Elsie Tanner and all that lot. And also, we were a tight-knit community as well. The cast is very big now because we were only on twice a week then, and the first one was live, and now we're 6 times a week, so it's a bit different.
Yeah.
So we just go in, do our scenes, and go home now.
Some of your fondest memories of your decades on Coronation Street are working with your on-screen wives.
Yes.
And obviously your first wife was Anne Reid. And there was a lovely moment when obviously there was that sort of heartbreaking moment in the storyline where they were meant to be meeting at the Rovers and she didn't come because obviously there was the accident, she passed away. But they finally are reunited 52 years later in real life when she walked into the Rovers
I hadn't really met her in between. And
Really?
when she walked in the door, we didn't say anything. We just laughed.
Oh,
we actually laughed
this is
because
it.
we
We're
went
looking at it
straight
now.
back into the emotional state. I was very fond of Anne. Really loved her. And she's done so well since. So it was a wonderful meeting at the time.
And also the other, because he has had many affairs, moments, female moments in his life, but great actresses as well.
I've been very fortunate.
Rula Lenska, Joe Lumley,
Yes.
and of course Anne Kirkbride.
Yes. Well, and Ian McKellen did the voiceover, of course.
Yeah.
So we're very fortunate with that. We've always had good actors coming in, and I always love that. I like to watch them and work with them, and it's a privilege to do that.
Yeah, we all got a sort of glimpse into your life on screen and off screen, actually. And this was the documentary Happy Birthday, Bill, and this was on Tuesday night.
Yes.
And having something like that, not just for you to sort of revisit those moments, but talking about it with your family and also hearing all those lovely things that people quite rightly say about you.
Yes. Well, Ken isn't a very happy character. I remember someone once saying, is there a fun book about Ken? And no, there isn't, because he was the intellectual from within the street.
Yeah.
And Tony Warren deliberately did that. He was always a bit different, and mainly I called him a one-man Greek tragedy because there was more tragedy than humour. But when Blanche came on, we had a lot of humour there. I love the humour.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. And so, as far as you're concerned, we said this a number of times when we said you were on today. People do ask you, are you thinking of retiring? It's perfectly clear that you have, quite rightly, no intention of doing that.
None at all. No. Well, while I can do it and while they want me, I'll be there. It is important, the ageing thing is a belief system to a large extent. And people say, I'm 60 now, I better get then. When are you retiring? And here, come and sit down and all that. No, keep going. I stand up a lot. In fact, my own doctor started seeing his patients standing up because I told him my main exercise was not sitting down.
Well, it's clearly
I remember Marlon Brando saying that, and he blew up to 20 stone.
Not so successful there. Somebody else who's celebrating a big birthday today is Our Majesty the Queen, who you have met many, many times throughout your life and career. I think it was one of the first times when you were 21.
I was 21.
And did you have a bit of a crush on Her Majesty? Was it fair to say?
I did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I should have said that, but she was so beautiful, and it was her first Commonwealth tour in 1953.
Yeah.
And I was with the Royal Welsh Fusiliers in charge of the security of the Caribbean. And so she came to us, and we had a day with her. And she was, yes.
I mean,
she
she'd be
still
delighted.
is. She came to the set last year.
Yeah.
And I reminded her about that, and she remembered that tour very well, of course.
Oh.
She's still as bright as a button. Her eyes are beautifully blue.
She's got the best skin as well, hasn't she?
She's amazing.
She really is.
And she listens, and she likes to be amused. She's wonderful.
Yeah, as are you. As are you. Thank you.
It's so lovely to see you. Very happy birthday. Do you know how you're going to be? It's Monday, is it your birthday? Is it Wednesday?
Monday's my birthday.
Yeah. So do you know how you're celebrating it, or is it being...
I have no idea.
How brilliant.
I think I will be surprised if there isn't a surprise. I must just say, that photograph was taken by my son, Will. And we had a wonderful time doing that, and it comes through.
It's a beautiful...
How lovely you get your son to take
Yeah, that's
pictures.
about my life and how I... Well, I didn't think I did anything special, but when we came to write it up, people are interested in what you
Well,
do
you don't-
and
You sure
how
did.
you tick and all
You don't
that.
get in the Guinness Book of Records for not doing anything special. So it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure
Thank
to be here, and thank you so. I love your show. I really
Oh.
do.
Thank you.
And you give a lot
Nice.
of joy to a lot of people.
You are very
Thank
kind.
you.
Thank you. A lovely thing.